Hey guys, okay, today we are with Alvin Andrew, yeah? He is a founder for...
Founder of Fubizo
Founder
and
of Fubizo.
principal product development scientist at Fubizo.
All right, so why don't we get started with that?
Yeah, sure.
Product scientist, or what was it again?
So product developer. So
Product
that means
developer.
we take an idea.
Right.
What I do is take an idea for a food or beverage product and make it a reality, make it a tangible, actual product.
So it's like if I have a nasi lemak,
Right.
and the nasi lemak is good, but I want to shelf it. I want to sell it in stores.
Right.
I can go to you.
Yes. So we can help you make the sambal aspect of it, or maybe even make the whole nasi lemak as the RTE, right?
RTE?
Ready to eat, right?
Okay.
So you can just go to the supermarket or any shelf and just pick it up from there.
So that is your service.
Right.
Then my next question is, let's say if I were to cook nasi lemak at home, once you've done your work on those nasi lemak to make it RTE, for example,
Right.
the taste would probably be different, wouldn't it?
Yeah, actually, I'm actually a flavor scientist, right? So
Right.
of course there will be some taste difference.
Right.
But what we try to do is that close the gap between what's freshly made and what you can pick up from the store, and that's what I would say that's what we are specialized in, right? To close that gap, and that's why when we make a product, the product usually stands out and up in the shelf.
Okay.
Yep.
So and beyond that, I'm pretty sure that's just one of your services that you
Right,
order
right.
offer. So what are the other ones?
Right. So sometimes a client will come to us and say, "Hey, we have done so many products, but we are looking for something fresh, a new idea." Right. So we help them in the ideation process, get the right idea, because I think that's super important to get the right idea, and then make an excellent product. So that's called product development. So we help them make all the formulation and ensure compliance with regulations. And then we help with the manufacturing scale up, because it's not good enough to just make a good product. But now this product has to be scalable. That means we have to go to the factory and ensure the deviations. That means sometimes you make a product in the factory could be different from the product actually developed. So we try to close that gap. And then we also do branding work, right? So branding means understanding the value proposition of that product and how that message resonates with the consumers, potential consumers, and put that on the packaging. So it's an inside-out approach. Like, just don't make your packaging nice. You know, we always tell people, make a really stellar product and then talk about that product. Yeah.
Okay, so based on the services that you have already offered, I mean the ones that you've already mentioned, it seems like you are everything in one roof. So let's say if I want product, I can go to you and then bring it all the way to the shelf.
Right.
Everything will be done by you.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what would be the cost associated to all that?
Well, that's a very good question. I think it depends also on the complexity of the product required, right? It can depend on that. It can depend on how some people have their own factory. Some people do not have their own factory, which
Right.
means we have to help them look for a contract manufacturer. And we have had some clients where they don't have a factory, but they want us to help with the setup of the factory. So that can take a longer process, right? So it really varies. The cost really varies on this, and depending on how complex it is, and multiple factors. Usually we try to give a free consultation to our clients, understand truly their requirements, and then we come up with a proposal, and it's all will be in the agreement, basically.
To be frank, this is a rather unusual business that the ones
Right.
I can see. I mean, people do start a restaurant. People create a new flavor, a new product. But you are actually consulting people to
Yeah.
help them getting from point A being the formulation of the product, to point Z, which is selling it off the shelf.
Right.
How do you come about this?
Well, actually, first of all, we are the only one doing this in Southeast Asia. All right, so Fubizo is the only one doing this, and then how we come about this is that I think I look at myself as a very good strategist. So I can help people realize an idea. So I think this is just a business that plays along my strength and my competence, right? So I've seen a lot of products, but I also know a lot of failures and very few successes. So we try to see the common denominators of what makes a successful product, and then I create a business out of it. I mean, just based on strength, competence, and quite frankly, my father also is a consultant. So I grew up in this type of business. It's like second nature to me.
To consult. Okay, you mentioned strength and competence. How does that apply in a food business?
Right. So strength, I think you truly need to understand what resonates with the customers, consumers. What do people want? And then it's also important to understand the meaning of trend versus fad.
Trend versus fad.
Fad means maybe a celebrity just hold a product, and then now for the next 1 week, everybody wants to eat the
That'll be
product.
fad, okay.
That's a fad, right? But if you talk about a trend, what's truly something people desire? It will not die. It will stand the test of time, and it will actually pick up probably from there. So having this strength, understanding some aspects of the market is super important when you make the product. And then having technical competence. So I actually studied in the University of Minnesota in United States. I lived there nearly 7 years. And over these years, I graduated with a bachelor degree in food science and then master's degree in food science, specialized in flavor chemistry. And so having this strong technical knowledge can also help us understand all the chemistry behind the food products and flavor chemistry and stuff like that. So,
all right, but why the food business? I mean, I'm pretty sure you could go into the industrial side of things.
Right.
But why this? Is this a passion?
I think this is a passion. Like I said, again, coming back to my family business, which is in consultancy.
Right.
It's
Which consultancy?
Actually, that company is called Mega Yield Management Consultancy. My father started this business in 1997. And they focus on increasing productivity. I mean, my father, when it comes to this type of things, he's basically the whale in the ocean, I would say. But as for me, you talk about why not go into the food industry. It's because I think I like to get myself involved with multiple type of products. So over the course of many years, we have done few hundred products, and a lot of it are successful. So I just like getting success over success over success.
What would you say success is for your customer?
Well, I think the number one indicator of success would be sales, ultimately sales. And sales is the result of consumers liking your product.
And that's how you could help them.
Yeah.
In the process of building a website, for example, customers might be fickle. They want one thing at one point, and then after the product has been developed, after the website has been developed, they might say they've changed their mind. They say they want it to look something else. Perhaps they saw other people's website and whatnot. How does this apply? Does this happen in the food industry as well?
Yeah. Actually, our clients, I call them clients, can change their mind, and we allow for all of this through our very transparent contract when we sign a business deal. The thing is that we always tell our client to be as specific as possible when they're in the ideation stage.
Yeah,
we have to know exactly.
But that can be troublesome for some people.
It is troublesome. It is troublesome. But
when we give them a blank state or slate, they might think they want this. But once you have already built them into realization, I mean, the blank slate might be 2D, for example. Yeah. And then once, so this is the packaging. What it's going to look at. Perhaps even the packaging is going to be 3D now because
right.
You're going to formulate them. And then turns out they say it doesn't look nice from this angle, so they might want to change that.
Yeah, actually, we accommodate all those changes because actually our business is built on their sales. Okay, so we want, especially if they say, hey, our consumers feedback A, B, and C, can you accommodate this change? We don't turn them down because we want the product to sell, right? If they sell, they come back to us for more projects.
That's right.
So it's a benefit for us to keep going.
How many products would you say you have helped?
Right. I think on top of my head, I could say at least 300 products, that sell across 75 countries, across 4 continents.
Across how many years?
Across from 2017, 2018, around there.
7 years now.
Yeah.
6 years.
Well, yeah, 6 years.
6 or 7 years. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And any of these return customers?
Well, yeah. I mean, most of our clients are return, and then they also help us do references.
Right.
So,
and you mentioned that a couple of them doing testimonial videos.
Yeah. Actually,
what is that all about? I mean, how do they? I mean, they are being business customers,
right?
So
these are the brand owners for a certain product. We have a beverage client, for example, and they said that before we got involved with their product and after we finish the development of the product, their sales actually literally doubled. doubled. So those type of things make me really happy. Comes back to what you asked me earlier about why I get into this type of business. This type of things make me sleep really well at night, actually.
Right. So helping others in their business sense will help you.
Yep.
Well, it will help you personally and...
Well, yeah, I mean, it helps me, but also the business owner, but also the consumers.
Tell me more about these 75 countries. I mean, what are the challenges to export your product from Malaysia, for example, to overseas?
I think there are two big major challenges on top of my head right now. Number one is the fact that you need to ensure regulatory compliance. Okay, I've got clients that come to me and say, hey, can you help my product go through all the laws of China, for example, and get our bird's nest product into China? How do we go about that, right? So that's one, regulatory compliance. And perhaps, in my opinion, more important is that you need to translate the flavors, That means just because I like a chili sauce in Malaysia, you can't sell the chili sauce in
China, for example.
China.
They might have a different taste.
I mean, the taste buds. I mean, even within Malaysia, to be honest, even in my own family, my father likes super spicy stuff and I cannot tolerate too spicy, right? So it's kind of hard to actually get that going. So we need to make sure.
Then how do you do that? I mean, do you send testers overseas
to
those countries?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So what we do is that we try to work with the importer, right? So the people over there, let's say in England, maybe they want to bring in the chili sauce. We send them few bottles and we ask them, hey, what do you think about this product? Do you like it? And we get the feedback directly from there, right? So ultimately, when we try to develop a product, we would want to develop for the target market that likes it. Because what you and I think doesn't fully, it's not fully relevant when it comes to exporting it to England. We may not like the product, but people of UK like it. Hey, go for it,
Okay. Yeah. So would you say that you guys do a double blind test study whatsoever?
Yeah. We do those type of things, of course.
And of course, those comes with costs.
Yeah, of course.
To the
of course.
clients.
To the client, to Fubizo, obviously, right? So, of course, we do those type of testing. We do triangle testing. That means give them two products and then take out the best one, and so we do all this type of sensory studies, understanding what they like. We need to know also in that certain country which age people are we going to target specifically. So yeah, that's what we do.
On your website, you said idea to product in 3 weeks.
Right.
When idea, in my business, perhaps even in IT business, an idea is an idea. You can create the MVP, the minimum viable product.
Right.
It takes a couple of weeks if you're good, and then to market it takes a while. So this product, are they sellable from the idea to?
Well, actually,
product?
usually when we say the word idea to product, it's more of the commercial product that we can actually give to the party involved to do some sensory testing, right?
Sensory
so that
testing,
means
that's what they call it.
Right. So idea to actual product, right? So from the drawing board, hey, I want to make a dietary supplementary type of a drink, to a product, it can take 3 weeks, right? But of course, we have to go through all the packaging, all the, to even source for these materials, it can take some time. So since we have all the experience needed, we can actually, speed up the process.
Okay. Tell me more about this, the triangle test that you were talking about just now.
Right. Actually, triangle test is something where sometimes we have clients that want to do benchmarking. Right? Benchmarking. That means they say, hey, this is the product. Maybe a sauce company, some marketing manager went to England. Right. They like the sauce a lot. Let's just say, right, example. And they say, hey, can you do benchmark product, or reverse engineer this product and make our product taste the same like this? So we do a triangle test. That means we give them 3 products. All right. The one of it is the new product. 2 of it is maybe the
ones that local over there.
Yeah, okay. The one that they source, right? So we will see. We'll ask the participants of the test to pick up the one that is different. Ideally, we don't want them to pick up the correct one, right? Because then only it'll be like same benchmarking, right? So that's something that we do also.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you say that most of your customers are based in Malaysia?
Most of them are based in Malaysia. We have some in America. some in Australia, some in Singapore.
So they're based in these countries. Are they trying to penetrate are they trying to penetrate Malaysia, or are they trying to penetrate other countries?
Right. So some of it, like we have some American clients, they just want to sell in America. We work, do the project for them. For their people, and they just want to sell it in the US. And so depends on the client's requirement. And some of them, like in Malaysia, they focus on the Malaysian market, but they want to now move out and export it elsewhere. So we can help with those type of things too.
Talking about America, they have this one chili sauce. I think it was sriracha.
Sriracha.
Sriracha, sorry. That really doesn't go well with my taste buds, but the Americans love it.
They love it. I mean, again, it comes back to your local taste, right? So they like it.
and as I eat that sriracha, I thought, okay, this is horrible. So my Maggi tastes better. But if I were to bring my Maggi to America, they wouldn't like it.
Right.
Perhaps it's too sweet.
That's true. I mean, that's part of the challenge, right? Getting the right people to the right product. That is perhaps one of the most difficult things. What I like, you may not like. What you like, I may not like. And so we have to understand who we're trying to get the product to.
Okay.
Who is the product reaching? And then work on it.
Okay. Early on, you mentioned that most of your clients are based in Malaysia. Would you say that the cost of labor here, the cost of food here, or the cost of raw material here makes it viable for a Malaysian entrepreneur to export our finished product overseas?
I think Malaysia has a lot of opportunities. Of course, the cost and all helps this process. I think we also have some decent government policies and help from the government, like Matrade and all. They're doing some really good work to help our local entrepreneurs. So yes, the answer is definitely a yes. In terms of shipping, in terms of funding and all. So yes, the answer is yes for sure.
Shipping would be rather cheap, perhaps?
Well, I mean, cheaper because you get to, the port will be nearer. Let's say in Klang or KL area, you go to Klang, and then if you're in Penang, where I'm from, you go to Butterworth Port and you ship the thing out. So it's quite okay. It's quite good.
Among all your customers, where would you say the biggest export destination is?
I think between United States and China.
United States and China.
Yep.
And Europe is not part of this?
Europe also, but then you asked the biggest. I would say that's maybe number 3 or 4.
Number 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in terms of market size, which one is actually the biggest? Like in terms of their ability to purchase, would you say?
Ability to purchase, I would say more like Europe and United States actually. Perhaps Australia also.
So you would help these clients of yours strategize?
Yes, correct.
As far as I know, most of the food companies would have their own team of researchers, people who can help them with perhaps everything that you're doing, business development. They have their own. But so how would you come into place in their needs?
See, I think there's something where we have to do things differently. Okay, these people are all inside the box. That's one issue, right? One issue is that all these business development people, really good people, but they're inside the box. That means like we spend a lot of money on training, visiting a lot of countries. We have a very good international presence. So that's one big thing different. That means we have a really good, strong perspective and knowledge. Another one is that we have extremely strong amount of technical knowledge. Like I told you, I came from the US. So we are creating something that is above trend. I would say that we are more focused on not following the trend. We're trying to create a trend. And people deal with us is super easy because we have all the team, the correct people doing the correct work. And whenever we have products, clients have told us, whenever we get involved, the sales double, the sales triple, the product get launched faster. So there is something that we're doing right, I would say.
So you would say that you have the track record to prove this?
Of course.
And how many employees do you have, and what are their chosen? I mean, how would you choose them to be working for you?
Well, we have about less than 10 actually. How we choose them is that we have to go through a technical test. Always we have a technical assessment. It is one of the hardest place to get a job in the food industry in Malaysia as at Fubizo. Super tough. We give them a technical test, understand how they are thinking, how they go through problem solving type of things. That's part of the interview process always.
You mentioned problem solving. What coming from someone who is uninitiated in this, what kind of problem solving is involved in terms of food science, for example?
Well, I'll give you an example. We have this pineapple plantation. They have 5,000 acres or so of pineapple plantation, and they set up a factory to make juices. Okay. And then what happened is that the juice changed color after 3 months. The color becomes like brownish type.
They come with the same plantation. It's just that it changes colors after they get extracted. Perhaps.
Yeah. I mean, they make the juice, and then in the bottle you can see the color change after a few months.
Okay.
And they come to us and they ask us, hey, how to solve this problem? Now, so you asked also about why R&D team, they don't have maybe a really strong R&D team that can understand where is the color changes coming from. So we have really deep technical knowledge and understanding what's happening there. You have to know it in a molecular level, and that takes a lot of training and lots of time to learn.
In this example, can you explain to us about, as they say, if you want to prove that you actually understand the thing, you have to be able to explain it to a 5-year-old. So for a 5-year-old, why does the pineapple juice change color?
Well, in one word, oxidation.
Oxidation, there you
because go. Of aeration, because of you have air in it when packaging, when you have maybe some air and then the bottle is transparent, light penetrates and starts a reaction, oxidation reaction.
Right.
So in one word is that.
So how would you solve it? May I try?
Sure.
Perhaps make the packaging has almost zero air. You
Okay.
suck you vacuum out the air out of it. That means you have to use a better packaging. It has to be sturdy.
Sure.
Or perhaps just don't use the transparent packaging.
Right. So that's all part of the logic, right? But then there's also a cost factor now, right? So now you keep changing the thing. So now there's a cost factor that goes up, and then up to a certain limit, the consumer don't want to pay that
Because
amount.
it's too expensive, yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Then how would you solve it?
So I think the first step is to understand where's the problem coming from. Finding the root cause is extremely important, where it initiates. And then we actually had a thing where we go to the factory, troubleshoot everything, understand the whole process. It takes months to actually understand truly what's happening every time. How long the pineapple is being pressed for juice, cold press versus hot pressing versus hot filling, all the processes, understand all the temperatures, make a lot of testing. And then we have to go through a lot of experimentation. So we also have two types of packaging maybe. Okay, we test with one without the light being penetrated into it, opaque packaging. Another one is a transparent one. And then we see, hey, you know what? If this is opaque, stored at this temperature, it's going to be good. And if it's this temperature, it's going to be bad. And so we know, okay, if the client says, hey, we still want it to be transparent, then we'll say,
you want to see the juice, right?
Yeah,
okay.
And then we say, okay, look, it's going to be 3 months maybe. But if you have it in opaque packaging, it's going to be maybe 6 months, 9 months, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are the thought process that go into place,
Yeah.
and then you have to propose these solutions.
Correct.
And
based on the actual findings, right? So troubleshooting and then findings. This is for a problem solving thing, right? Just now we went through some reverse engineering type of things. And sometimes the client just dream and say, look, almost like a dream. Hey, you know what? We want to make a cake, a Hokkaido cheesecake that is 3 months stable, shelf life, and stable in the room temperature.
Okay, you would say that is rather impossible. So
well,
it's a dream.
I mean, it's a dream they make up and then they want us to work on, right?
Okay.
It is possible. Like we comes back again to how we do things. So we understand how the structure changes, how the texture changes, how to maintain a correct amount of moisture while keeping the shelf life. So we have really strong technical competence in this.
But again, there will be compromises. Perhaps to the taste, to the color,
correct.
texture.
I mean, in this case here, in terms of maybe the additives that we use, of course, there will be some place where you will need to give and take.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why people like fresh.
Of course.
Hokkaido cakes.
Of course. I mean, fresh food is good, but then to replicate that experience is where we come in anywhere, for anyone, anytime. Yes.
So, given your path, where you have charted so far, you still believe that education is still a core?
Well, education is definitely important. I mean, I couldn't stress that enough. It is important, but also just to touch a bit on your point where you said studying for too long. That's not good. Some people just go from
degree to
masters to PhD to this to that, and then I realize in our country some people do that because they get like some research assistantship or what in the university, as opposed to having a true passion for it. So that's a very dangerous reason to actually do higher education, and then they come out from that education and they couldn't find a job, and it's a real problem actually in our country, because and in a lot of countries I would say they study too much and they have no application.
So Alvin, let's get back to the entrepreneurial side of things. Let's say if they want to learn about this as a whole, are they able to do it from you or perhaps YouTube?
You say, for example, it's a very interesting time actually, because we have a training program. It's a public training program going to be held in Petaling Jaya, Selangor, on the first week of December. It's going to be called Food Forward.
Food Forward.
Yeah, it's like, it's a play on words between 2024 and the fact that you want to go forward, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about ideation. How to get a good idea. This is super important. And then how do you know your idea is actually good?
Right.
Just because you're in love with the idea doesn't mean it's actually a good idea.
So during that phase, you're going to test the idea.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. And then how...
And then everyone else can criticize? I mean, is it going to be an open...
Well, yeah, it's going to be an open thing. I'm hoping to bring in about 50, 60 business leaders.
Okay, so that was the first step after the ideation?
Ideation.
Okay.
And then how to build a product around that idea, and then how to build the marketing, the branding around those type of things.
Okay.
So this type of things is quite a comprehensive thing, but we're going to talk about this in the Food Forward program. And then another reason why this program is important is because sometimes if you're in R&D, you're only in the R&D department, you don't know the business aspects. Sometimes if you're in the business aspect, business side of things, business development, you don't know what challenges.
You have all the ideas, but you neglect the challenges.
Exactly, from an operational, from an execution standpoint, right? So we're going to deal with all this and put everybody under one roof in one program to understand different perspectives. And the combination of this knowledge will give the winning product.
Who would you say would be suitable to come to this program? For how long is it? Is it going to follow?
It's going to be a couple of days, 2 days. Okay. I think December 5th and 6th. December 5th and 6th. It's a Tuesday, Wednesday of this year 2023. Who should come is, first of all, anyone who wants to be in the food industry, anyone who's already in the food industry, because we have had this program before whereby even business development managers, marketing managers attend, and we have R&D executives attend. We have even factory managers attend. So this will be a good one for people in the food industry or have a very keen interest in the food industry.
Is this the first time the project has been...
Well, this is first time we're calling it a Food Forward. So it's a different twist a little bit. But we did one last time in Subang Jaya called Food 2020. So we have done this program before and received a lot of success response. So which is why we're going to do it again, Food Forward. It's like a 3-4 years once. So it's not like a thing we do every month or something, right? So it's a very good opportunity for people to grab on and to learn.
Right. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Food Forward 2024 to be held under Fubizo.
Yes. In
Subang Jaya on the 5th and 6th of December.
Yeah, 5th and 6th of December. Petaling Jaya.
Petaling Jaya 2020 of this year.
Yep.
What are your advice to people in general when it comes to food? Not just for the producer, but as well as the consumer. Because the products, your clients are selling products to the consumers. So the consumers have to be rather educated or learn about what they should be looking into when buying food.
Well, my biggest advice is don't overeat. It can kill you. Don't overeat. You need to eat the right amount of food. You need to eat a healthy amount of food. But that's also a part of the keyword healthy. Being healthy is super important. Having the right amount of food and eating good quality food. And experiencing it. Don't to be so fast. Enjoy it. It's really meant for you to enjoy, in my opinion. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Alvin.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you
so
for
much.
coming.
Thank you. Whew, how did I do? Huh?
Perfect. But I have a question. What is a healthy food?
We're off the record, right?
We are on the record.
We are on the record.
Yeah. I want to make it. The second half will be casual.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by healthy food?
Yeah. What is
I think healthy food is something that doesn't cause you diseases.
Diseases, okay. But any
So
food,
that's very
if
important.
you taken too much, can cause disease.
Yes, of course. So that's why I said also eat the right amount of food, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you need to be careful with how much you're eating, what you're eating. I mean, you need to be careful. If you are a guy with diabetic, then you have to be responsible to your own self and cut off sugar.
Kind of sugar.
I
So
mean-
you're not against people throwing the message. I mean, not throwing, not even propagating, because the message is right.
Right.
Sugar can be bad to us. I mean, even Cristiano Ronaldo says
Right, right.
sugar is poison.
Right.
So you're okay with people saying that?
Well, yes, I mean, sugar is poison, but there's also a lot of demand. I mean,
Yeah,
people
it is.
wouldn't be selling it if there's no
Right,
demand,
right.
right? So we have to fulfill the demand, and food manufacturers would do
Yeah,
it.
because I mean, it wouldn't be fair for me to put that against you because
Right.
you are in that business.
I mean, as a consumer, you have a choice, right?
That
to
is right,
make.
yeah.
So you have to be making the right choice for yourself, right? Could be in your whole family, maybe somebody has diabetic, so that person should be reducing it drastically. But you maybe want to enjoy some kueh mueh, let's say, and go for it. That's fine, but be careful. Don't eat too much.
I see, I see. This is actually a very interesting business niche that you are in.
Yeah.
I mean, typically we don't get inquiries, or I don't hear people running this kind of business, this kind of food consulting
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
And I understand because I came from a company that sells oils,
Right.
minyak masak. So they have their own factory all the way
Right.
in Banting. I guess you would know which one.
Yeah.
And Bagan Lalang.
Bagan
I
Lalang,
don't
yep.
remember. They have their own R&D team. Really huge company, but the I would say that it is not as popular as minyak minyak buruh ke, minyak saji. So they. Would you say that they would have a need or for
They will
services?
have a need because, like you said, popularity, right? So they need to figure out how to differentiate from the rest of the product, right? I mean, ultimately, that's what we do, right? We give a competitive edge to our clients to give them a advantage in the market space. So that's really what we do, actually. We are ultimately, if I were to summarize why we even exist as a business, is to elevate the consumer's experience. It's not about you. Maybe you are the MD, the managing director of the company, or the CEO of the company. It's really not about you. You have to separate what you want from what the consumer
consumers
would want and need. And you have to fulfill that.
Okay.
That is super important. You have to separate yourself from this whole thing.
Okay, and I imagine that the packaging itself is a part of the experience, not just the taste.
Yeah, for sure. Because you see, we always tell people before you buy the product, the only thing you interact with
It's the packaging.
packaging. You have to look good, you have to read well, and those type of things, right? But once you buy the product and you like the product, no one cares about the packaging. So, it's quite interesting actually, but you have to balance it inside out. But here's the problem. If you buy the product based on the packaging and then the product inside is really bad, you're dead. You're gone. So a balance is super important. Inside out approach, super important.
That makes sense.
Right.
Then next question is, why Penang? I mean, I would imagine Klang Valley would be where the supercenter, the epicenter of your industry is in. In fact, you're going to meet someone in Shah Alam, perhaps?
Yeah.
Yeah. But so why Penang? As a
I
consultant,
have only 1 or 2 clients in Penang, first of all.
there you go.
I love Penang. Penang is a really good place.
Okay.
It's a really good place. I cannot tahan the traffic jam here.
Okay.
I cannot tahan a lot of things. Penang is food paradise. I grew up in Penang. My father worked really hard to put us in the island. And I want to continue that legacy. Really, that's what it is all about. Because my clients are all here in the Klang Valley, Johor region. But nothing beats the food paradise. I finish my work here in decent Klang Valley and go back to the beautiful island.
I see.
Yeah.
Would you say that you need to meet your clients physically, or are they more
Well,
online interaction?
like in Malaysia, sometimes we have a client in Shah Alam. So we go and meet them in person, right? Sometimes we have Zoom meetings. Some clients have never met also before. We do Zoom meetings, and then when we have prototypes and all, we courier the thing. And then when the thing is ready to be in the factory, we go there, be present. So it depends on where we are in the stage and how far they are. Yeah.
Honestly, do you have any competition other than the coming from the companies themselves? Like I said,
honestly, the biggest competition is the companies, right? And then in second stage, I would say some brand owners, they want to do OEM of contract manufacturing. Sometimes the contract manufacturing also work with us. But you
because
see,
the OEMs sometimes they say that they have their own
they
teams
have
of
their own
researchers.
R&D, but actually they don't have too much. I mean, if you go in there and look, OEMs focus contract manufacturing. They're really good in manufacturing, and we are really good in differentiating the product. Actually, the combination is important. You see, contract manufacturers, they have a drink, and they want to just change packaging and put the same product. Now, what's your selling point if you're a new brand? Your only deal is to reduce the price. And I tell you what, reducing the price is a race to the bottom. You cannot have a viable business by just having price point. Now you reduce, the other fellow reduce. What if the contract manufacturer has their own brand? That will be the lowest price and you're dead. You need to think about differentiation. You need to give a reason to potential consumers to eat your product, to drink your product, and to be loyal to your product. Very important. Very important.
Then would you say, from my understanding, the way I see it, there is almost, perhaps I'm wrong, and correct me if I'm wrong, there is almost no point to get into this business if you don't have your own factory. Because the factory is where the bottom is.
Right.
So as long as if you want to play with the margin, I mean, regardless if, let's say if you can get your product out for the lowest cost because you have your own factory, and if you're able, let's say we work with you, to increase the price of the product due to perception and the taste, then we can get as much margin as possible. And anyone else who wants to do kacau, they can.
Correct. So I think it's not necessarily about just lowering the cost through the contract manufacturers and all. It's about increasing value. This is the key word, increasing value.
That's where you come
perception. Yes.
Okay.
Definitely, that's where we come
And the OEM can come up with their own low-cost manufacturing because they own everything.
Of course.
So it's a
So
win-win
that means
product.
we help the client. Let's say you're the client. Okay, you come up with a drink. You want to make a specialty coffee of whatever. So we make the formulation and all. Now you have two choices. One is we help you set up the factory. Another one is take this formula, but get the contract manufacturer to manufacture this product for you. So you'll have a very strong point of differentiation. Yeah, and then once your sales pick up and your numbers go up, maybe now you're thinking about setting up your own factory. Why not? That's a progression, growth right there. Yeah.
Is there any copyright and contract involved in this? Meaning, let's say the OEM factories, they are not allowed to copy the product, right?
Of course, because we have a very strict policy about NDA. We never, as you can see, I'm talking to you for so long, but I never talk about my client's name and all, right? We talk about specific product categories, but we have a very strict NDA policy. So we do not share private information of the client to anyone else.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
unless authorized by the client.
Okay, so I was going to ask you, can you name one product out there that you help with? So you won't be able to answer that.
Well, I think it's better not because in this business, we are based on trust. There's a lot of trust, a lot of secrecy. You could even categorize me as being in the business of secrecy in the food industry. That's very important to keep up the trust. Yep.
Well, you did well for the past 40 minutes.
Oh,
no
thank you.
secret spilled.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Alvin.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Yeah.